In 1870, in Cleveland, Ohio, a 31-year-old man controlled only 4% of America's oil refining capacity. 10 years later, that number had jumped to 90%. By 1904, he controlled 91% of oil production and 85% of final sales. This is often told as a classic success story. But it isn't. It was the birth of a system. His name was John D. Rockefeller. Rockefeller didn't just build an oil company. He designed a game board that was extremely difficult to escape. And when Standard Oil was broken up by court order in 1911, the game didn't end. It simply changed form. It evolved. Today, in 2025, the phones you use, the medicine you buy, the fuel you pump, the banks you borrow from, behind all of them is the same logic. Because the issue isn't companies. It's methods. What Rockefeller understood early was this: the real challenge wasn't extracting oil from the ground, but controlling its flow. Drilling was risky. It depended on luck. But refining, transportation, storage, distribution, that's where the real money was. That's why he used vertical integration. He controlled the barrel, the transport, the storage, and the sale. Every link in the chain was pulled inward. While competitors produced oil at 25 cents per barrel, he reduced his cost to 15. While competitors paid the railroads paid him secret discounts and rebates. This wasn't just efficiency. It was a dominance that erased competitors from the field. Then he moved to horizontal consolidation. Sell, or disappear. In 1872, in just 3 months, he acquired 25 of Cleveland's 26 refineries. Historians call this the Cleveland Massacre. The offer was simple: sell at a good price and keep your management position. Refuse, and prices would be driven below cost until you went bankrupt. This method is still used today. It just goes by more polite names. By 1879, Standard Oil controlled 90% of America's refining capacity. It was no longer a company. It was a monopoly. But Rockefeller's most brilliant move came next. Monopolies had two enemies: the law and public outrage. The solution was the trust structure. Not a single company, but a structure that controlled many companies. Founded in 1882, the Standard Oil Trust became the ancestor of modern holding companies. Amazon, Google, Meta, Berkshire Hathaway, all descendants of this model. In 1911, the court split Standard Oil into 34 separate companies. Everyone thought the monopoly was over. But Rockefeller was a major shareholder in every single one. In the years after the breakup, the total value tripled. Exxon, Mobil, Chevron, BP, all children of Standard Oil. So the system wasn't destroyed. It became more resilient. And over time, it merged again. Today, oil is still controlled by a handful of giants. Technology is controlled by a handful of giants. Pharmaceuticals, finance, media, same picture. Amazon is the king of vertical integration, warehouses, logistics, marketplace, cloud services. Google is free, but controls 92% of the search market. You don't pay with money. You pay with data. Pharmaceutical giants shape regulations in their favor. Banks escape rules through holding structures. And then there's philanthropy. The Rockefeller Foundation was the first major example of tax avoidance, public legitimacy, and political influence wrapped into one. Today, the Gates Foundation and Zuckerberg's initiatives follow the same blueprint. This is not a conspiracy theory. It is a documented corporate architecture, written in history books, court records, and official documents. And the system still works. Cheap products. Fast delivery. Extreme efficiency. The problem is not efficiency itself. The problem is that the wealth created by this efficiency accumulates in fewer and fewer hands, at the top. Escape seems impossible. But there are still 3 paths. First, accept it and move on. Second, try to resist it. Third, understand the system and position yourself accordingly. Rockefeller chose the third. While everyone else bought oil, he owned the flow. This is not investment advice. This is an invitation to see the rules of the game more clearly. Because what matters is not Standard Oil. What matters is the method. And this method has been copied for 150 years. Welcome to the global monetary order. Here, we talk less about companies, and more about game plans.